But for video evidence in the case of convicted Nollywood actor Olanrewaju James, also known as Baba Ijesha, and popular Islamic cleric in the Igondo area of Lagos, Abdullahi Salahuddin, there would have been more cases that would perhaps have gone unreported. The former was convicted of abusing his colleague's adopted daughter, while the latter was sentenced for serially defiling children sent to him for Quranic education. The Executive Secretary of the DSVRT in Lagos speaks on the goal and essence of the Sexual Offenders Register.
It's to create a deterrent, to let people know that, if you do the crime, you will do the time. And we will shift the attention from the survivor and place it on you, the convict or the abuser or the alleged perpetrator. So that's the essence of the Sex Offenders Register. Aside from that, it is to encourage institutions that have interface with children to conduct background checks.
While it's been reported that Baba Ijesha's name and those of some newly convicted individuals have been published in the Lagos Sexual Offenders Register, what's uncertain is how often the National Sexual Offenders Register is updated and how strong enough the policy is as a deterrence for wrong sexual behavior. Rights activists laud the Ekiti State template on the punishment for sexual offenders.
Lagos State has not been able to come out with a concrete list. Do you get me?
Okay.
Because of the abnormalities ranging from the inappropriate way of handling these cases. Justice is a two-way thing. The Sexual Offenders Register, you can see that Ekiti State is at the forefront of this because proper investigation were carried out.
What they can also do is follow the steps of states like Ekiti, where you have where you're disqualified from applying from things, like governmental pardons, where there are compulsory psychiatric tests that are required for offenders, particularly in the cases of minors. And like I mentioned, moving this from online to offline, where there's actually shaming of the perpetrators in their local communities, where there are placards with their faces everywhere. That's how people are going to get the information. That's how they're going to know who is safe.
Besides launching the first Sexual Offenders Register in the country in 2013, Ekiti State also has a culture of naming and shaming, where the picture and personal details of the offender is published online and offline in their locality and in government offices. Despite this policy of naming and shaming, reports say sexual and gender-based violence is on the rise in the state.
It's a bit tricky in the sense that people will say, rape is on the rise. Rape is on the rise all over. Rape is on the rise in Ekiti. I don't think so. I think it is because of the actions, these laws and policies we have in place that we are implementing in Ekiti that has increased reportage.
But how does the state prevent recidivism should the convicts be released on the prerogative of mercy?
We don't pardon sex convicts. There's a policy. The Honorable Attorney General has a policy of not admitting such person for prerogative of mercy.
Mrs. Viva Adeniyi also speaks on reform programs carried out by the state government in partnership with the Nigerian Correctional Service.
This year we partnered with the Nigerian Correctional Service and we introduced a curriculum to reorientate the mindset of sex convicts, because we know that certain people will come back into the society, and how can we reduce the chances of them reoffending? And it's been very successful. It's a gradual process. We're able to engage over, I think, 400 inmates. Some awaiting trial, some convicts.
While it is reassuring that pardon is not available for sex offenders in Lagos and Ekiti states before the expiration of their jail term, to protect their wards, institutions and members of the society and groups can access the document on the NAPTIP website. But not all states have harmonized their register with the National Database for Sex Offenders.
Edo State was also the first state to link up to the NAPTIP, National Sex Offenders Register. And so I would say overall, the efforts have been extremely laudable. I think my concern is whether or not the register is actually being updated on a regular basis. If you look at the register itself, it indicates that since 2020, when it was launched, only 139 cases have been reported, and that there are 118 cases that are pending with 21 convictions. This is actually different from the numbers that Edo State itself is reporting.
The public expect that there will be no sacred cows in the exercise of the prerogative of mercy for sexual offenders at both the federal and state levels. This is more so because little attention is given to the record of prisoners granted pardon on special occasions by government officials. Bukola Samuel Wemimo for Channels Television News.